A wrecked Bugatti Chiron is usually where the story ends. These cars were never designed to be rebuilt outside the factory, and once they're declared a total loss, they quietly disappear. But this one didn't. This wrecked Bugatti ended up in the hands of YouTuber Matt Armstrong, and he made a call almost nobody else would make. He decided to rebuild it himself. No factory backing, no sign-off from Bugatti, just him and his team staring down one of the most complex cars ever built. That choice changed everything. Parts became unavailable overnight. Repair costs spiraled. Bugatti stepped in and made their position unmistakably clear. This car should never go back on the road. And just like that, what started as a rebuild project became a very public standoff between a YouTuber and one of the most exclusive car brands in the world, with a multi-million-dollar hypercar right in the middle. Matt Armstrong wasn't some random creator who stumbled into this. Rebuilding wrecked cars is exactly what built his channel. Over the years, he'd taken on everything from everyday BMWs to high-end Lamborghinis, tearing them down, fixing what everyone else wrote off, and putting them back on the road. That hands-on, problem-solving approach, combined with a calm on-camera presence, turned him into a well-known name in the automotive world. Millions of people watch his videos, not just for the cars, but for the question every episode asks: can something that looks completely finished actually be saved? So when word spread that a rare Bugatti Chiron had been wrecked and was effectively heading for the scrap pile, Armstrong didn't see a dead end. He saw the biggest challenge of his career, a chance to do something no one had seriously attempted on YouTube before. What he didn't anticipate was that this particular rebuild would put him on a direct collision course with Bugatti itself. The car at the center of it all was no ordinary vehicle. It was a Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, one of just 60 ever produced. When new, it carried a price tag of around $3.6 million. On the collector market, estimates have placed its value considerably higher. With 1,500 horsepower and extreme engineering throughout, it's about as exclusive as modern cars get. That's what made the crash so shocking. The Pur Sport, owned by Florida-based influencer Alex Gonzalez, was involved in what should have been a minor accident, a low-speed collision with the rear of a small truck worth only a few $1,000s. But despite the modest impact, the damage to the Bugatti was severe. The front end was crushed. Carbon fiber panels were shattered. Airbags deployed. Key structural components were compromised, including sections of the front frame, and inspectors found evidence of cracks in the carbon fiber monocoque chassis, the rigid shell that forms the structural core of the entire car. Both headlights were destroyed. The signature horseshoe grille was gone. And the repair list quickly became overwhelming. An initial estimate put the parts bill alone at roughly $1.7 million. Faced with that cost and complexity, the insurance company declared the car a total loss. The Pur Sport was issued a salvage title and sent to a Copart auction. For many enthusiasts, it was a sobering moment. The realization that only 59 Pur Sports remained actively on the road. If the story had ended there, it would already have been dramatic. But that wasn't the end. After the crash, Bugatti sent a factory technician from Molsheim to examine the car. The conclusion was unambiguous. The damage was too severe, and repairing the car outside factory control was deemed unsafe. Shortly after, Bugatti locked the car's VIN in their system, meaning no authorized dealer or service center could sell official Bugatti parts for this specific Chiron. In plain terms, the car was blacklisted. This isn't unusual for Bugatti. When a vehicle is judged beyond safe repair, the company cuts off parts support to prevent unsafe rebuilds and protect both future drivers and the brand's reputation. But for Matt Armstrong, the blacklist changed everything. He had already heard about the wreck early on and flew to Miami to see the car in person, hoping to secure it before it disappeared. When Armstrong finally stood in front of the Pur Sport, the damage didn't discourage him. He had rebuilt heavily damaged supercars before. What stopped him cold was Bugatti's refusal to sell parts under any circumstances. With the VIN fully locked, there was only one official path remaining: ship the car back to Bugatti's factory in France for an approved rebuild, a process rumored to cost nearly as much as buying a new Chiron outright. It was at that dead end that the situation spilled into public view. Frustrated by Bugatti's refusal to cooperate, the car's owner Alex Gonzalez took matters to social media. He posted an ultimatum on Instagram, giving the company 24 hours to unblacklist the car, or he would attempt to 3D print the required parts himself. The post spread quickly and poured fuel onto an already heated debate. Some people saw it as a bold stand for owner rights and the DIY spirit. Others questioned whether it was reckless to suggest recreating precision components for a multi-million-dollar hypercar. Either way, the story moved from forums and YouTube comment sections into the broader public spotlight. The response came faster than anyone expected, and it came from the top. Mate Rimac, CEO of Bugatti Rimac, personally reached out to Alex through direct messages after seeing the post. He pushed for a calmer resolution and opened a direct line of communication. Shortly after, Bugatti agreed to unblock the car and discuss a path forward. Bugatti's position remained firm. If the car was going to be repaired properly, it needed to go back to France. Two figures were discussed. The first was around $1.7 million. Then Bugatti came back with a second offer, somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000, with the factory carrying out the work and standing fully behind the result. Even at the lower figure, Alex didn't take the deal. The issue wasn't only the price, it was control and uncertainty. He didn't want to hand the car over to France with no clear timeline and no guarantee that additional costs wouldn't surface once it was in Bugatti's possession. So instead of shipping the Per Sport back and ending the story there, Alex made the risky call. Keep the car in Miami and attempt an independent rebuild. He handed it over to Matt Armstrong with a straightforward but high-stakes goal: fix it outside Bugatti's system. Armstrong accepted, fully aware of what he was taking on. The early rebuild videos revealed just how difficult that task would be. As Armstrong's team stripped the damaged front end, they uncovered problems far beyond cracked body panels. What first appeared to be a minor crack in the gearbox housing turned out to be serious structural damage, significant tears in the transmission mounts that would normally require factory-level equipment to address properly. The rebuild spread fast through the car community. People were stunned by the concept of a YouTuber attempting a repair that insurance companies had written off entirely. When one of Armstrong's update videos passed 6 million views in just a few days, it was clear this was no longer a private project. The attention ensured that Bugatti's leadership could no longer stay quiet. In January 2026, Mate Rimac released a video statement addressing the situation directly. His tone was calm but firm. He started by pushing back on what he described as widespread misinformation about Bugatti's repair costs. Online claims had put the price of a pair of Chiron headlights at $150,000. Rimac clarified the actual figure was closer to $50,000. Still extraordinarily expensive, but far from the exaggerated numbers circulating online. He explained that these prices reflect the reality of engineering parts for a car produced in tiny numbers, where massive development costs are spread across very few vehicles. Rimac then addressed the core issue: safety. He specifically called out the idea of substituting components from other vehicles, pointing to an example where the airbag module part numbers matched those used in an Audi. On the surface, the parts appeared interchangeable, but Bugatti's own testing had revealed that crash dynamics, deployment calibration, and seating ergonomics differ significantly between vehicles. A component that fits on the same bolts does not behave the same way in a crash. Those invisible differences, Rimac argued, are exactly the kind of thing that gets people killed. Importantly, Rimac made clear this wasn't personal. He openly praised Matt Armstrong, said he respected his passion and followed his content. But he drew a hard line when it came to structural repairs on a car like the Chiron. Damage to the carbon fiber monocoque and drivetrain, he said, cannot be responsibly addressed outside the factory. Bugatti's offer still stood. If the car came back to France, they would fix it properly. At its core, this story is about a debate that never really goes away in the car world: the right to repair versus the responsibility that comes with building extreme machines. From Armstrong's side, the logic is simple. If you own the car, you should be free to fix it. His rebuilds appeal to people who believe that with enough skill and determination, no car is truly beyond saving. That underdog spirit, an independent builder going up against a global manufacturer, is a big part of why this story resonated so widely. Bugatti's view is rooted in safety and long-term accountability. When a company builds a 1,500 horsepower car capable of record speeds, even minor repair mistakes can have serious consequences, not just for the current owner, but for anyone who ever sits in that car afterward. If Armstrong pulls this off, it could change how manufacturers view skilled independent builders. If the project collapses, it may only reinforce Bugatti's position that some machines are simply too complex, too dangerous, and too valuable to be restored anywhere but where they were born.